are you? Good, happy Friday, 8 o'clock. And how's everybody doing? I don't know. I just set this up. I've been taking a break, and I don't know how long this break will be. Maybe permanent. We shall see. I'm sort of, but I wanted to. I just, when I get inspired, I'm going to put something together. I got a few little ones I got to catch up, but I thought this was something that I was thinking about, and I've been thinking about it some more from what we had conversed about previously, and that is how a lack of consequences leads to institutional pathology. So, what do I mean by that? Well, I'd seen a something about like somebody from the Biden administration, some apparatchik who's in the State Department or whatever, had quit in protest because of whatever was going on in Israel with Hamas and all this, right? And he was upset with what the policy and there was something wrong or whatever. So he's quitting in protest, right? And I was just thinking, does that ever work? Does that ever work? Does the institution ever say, you know what, we lost somebody good, and that person was right, and we should have listened to him, so we're going to change the ship of state, we're going to change the policy because that person quit in protest? That just doesn't happen. I don't think that ever happens, that ever works. So what does that mean? So what is the consequence of somebody quitting over a policy choice? Well, let's assume in this case that person had all the answers. All right, let's assume that person. And then obviously the ship of state was in the wrong direction, right? Well, the people he's protesting against remain in place. They remain in place. And then so the state kind of keeps rolling along with all the people who got it wrong in power, right? So the person self-deleted. In fact, so I think what happens over time, if this is the answer to the wrong direction of an institution, and the people that are care and are correct, their solution is to walk away. Eventually, the institutions become filled with people who are wrong, who get things wrong. Right? Isn't that odd? I think that's kind of an odd consequence, but I think that's kind of what's been happening in a lot of our institutions. We talked about this in the level of the conservative left and how the left takes over institutions over time because conservatives don't like what's going on and they leave or they're institutionally forced out, right? So you have that same effect when people are forced out by ideology. And there's a game theory idea here too. And that is, if you have one side that plays meritocracy games, and then you have another side that plays power games, eventually the side that plays the power game will end up taking over the institution. So what I mean by that is, like, let's just say I'm a conservative and I'm like, I don't discriminate on the basis of ideology. I want to have the best professor, right? And I do. If I was hiring for an educational institution, I would have the smartest, the most intellectual people. And a lot of intellectual people tend to be very left wing, right? So, but I'm not going to discriminate. I'm going to vote for the one that's most qualified, that I think is the most committed, and who's the best teacher, and who's the most intellectual. Okay, so let's assume that I'm on the hiring committee, and I do that. And then there's somebody else on the hiring committee that only votes for the left-wing person. That means that the left-wing people will gradually take over the institution to the point that the meritocracy, the people that are for the meritocracy, will end up being crowded out, and the institution will become taken over by the ideologues. So I thought that, just let's think about this. Now, another thing is that there's a justification that comes from people who do this. And I will say that I'm beaten down a bit and I'm on a break. I've taken a break. Somebody said I'm break from a break. And and I'm having to recover my energies and my stress levels pegged, and it's been rebounding upon me. Um, but I've been thinking about this idea of lack of consequences leads to institutional pathology. So what else do I mean by that? Okay, I was also thinking about the newspapers. The newspapers, we had a string. Okay, there was this idea that Israeli Air Force bombed the hospital and killed 500 innocent Palestinian people, right? Well, and all these big institutional, the MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post, institutional news reporting organizations, quote, I put news, which is are actually been revealed to be propagandists, that you cannot rely on these institutional, because all of those things are false. It's, if you just waited a day, found out that number one, it was not an Israeli bomb. It was, in fact, a misguided Gazan rocket. Number two, the rocket hit the parking lot, did not hit the hospital. And you've seen the damages, it's clear. And 500 people did not die. That number is way inflated. I mean, who knows how many it was, but it could not have, it just could, if you look at the actual impact area, there's no way that possibly, even if you packed everybody in there, that 500 people died, right? So that just could not have happened. Yet all of these new major newspapers reported this. Okay. And this is the institutional media that is so relied upon. Now, my question is there any consequence to anybody who falsely reported this? There's none. In fact, I think the Washington Post won't even retract the false statement. They won't even retract it. So they're standing by the lie. Well, where is the accountability? Where's the accountability? This is a major institution meant to deliver news. Well, I would suggest that anybody who relies on these news organizations, these old legacy institutions to deliver information, you're making a major mistake. If they're willing to lie and stand by that lie and as a propaganda point to push some narrative on you and it's false, and their job is to provide you information, and their job is giving you false information, I would shut them down and never listen to them ever again. That's what everybody needs to do. Everybody needs to do that. I would never rely on the New York Times or the Washington Post or the CNN or MSNBC. They are lying to me. And this is, so I cut the cable a long time ago, but the problem is there's a lot of people that follow this as this is the news and this is what they say. But on what basis? If they're willing to lie to you in this sort of thing, on an obvious lie, and stand by it, then what credibility? So again, lack of consequences leads to institutional pathology. There's no consequences to them lying. Now, maybe in the long term there is. People have cut the cable, people have lost trust. It's a betrayal of trust, and that's what's happened is people do no longer. There are a lot of people that hold them in low regard, and rightfully so, all right? But those institutions continue to pump out that false information. They still are there providing narrative direction. And I was watching on Laid Back News today, and it was like somebody brought up some topic, and it was not an important topic. It was something that was just waste of time talking about. Topic selection is a big, important thing that our media does, even when it doesn't, like, well, I don't watch the New York Times. I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch these. I don't read that paper, right? But what happens is you are told by these major institutions on what topics should you have an opinion. What topics should you have an opinion? For example, we're supposed to have an opinion on this hospital bombing, right? So now everybody's polarized. Everybody's got their team and their tribe. And they're going to go running off, and it's going to fit into their own narrative and whatever, right? So so just by discussing it, the media has won. The left has won because they are establishing a narrative by topic selection. So, for example, how many people here have ever heard of Hama, Hama, Hama in Syria? Anybody? Anybody remember this? Okay, that was when Bashir al-Assad, who's the dictator in Syria, was confronted by the Muslim Brotherhood from Hama, and his regime was attacked. And his response was to surround the city with the army and basically flatten it and kill everybody and pave it over. Pave it and just wipe everybody out. Maybe 150,000 people were killed in that city. Does anybody remember it? So why is that particular? Why does nobody remember that one? But why? It's like in Yemen. Does anybody know there's a civil war in Yemen? I think there's upwards of 300,000 people so far have been killed in the civil war in Yemen. 300,000 people, but nobody cares. Like, okay, well, but why not? Why is that not important? And the Israeli Gaza thing important, or the hospital important? It's topic selection. It's kind of like, okay, well, oh yeah, sure. I heard Stalin killed a lot of people, but you know what's terrible is those Jews, right? Oh, okay, yeah, I understand that's bad, but the Jewish question, right? If everything keeps going back to the Jews, it's like, wait a second, your topic selection is revealing something about yourself. Why is everything go back? Okay, yeah, okay, I'm not an anti-Semite, but did you know about this thing? And what about this thing? And I have a catalog. It's self-referential reinforcement through the internet. And we've talked about this before. It's like, okay, I think that we got an epidemic of cops killing black people on the road, right? Okay, that's the thing. You heard about Andrew Branca and having that big debate about showing the gun or whatever, right? This is the debate. Well, how many cops actually shot unarmed black people in America? It's like less than 20 a year. People think, oh, it's thousands. But what happens is the internet, it lives on and on. And if I'm obsessed by that issue, I can go on there and look at every incident where a cop killed a black guy, right? Or if I'm on the other side, what if I'm some kind of white supremacist guy? And I'm thinking, oh, the blacks are killing all the things, right? I'm Mr. White Supremacist. I'm going to go and look at all the incidents where some other guy gets. I'm going to look at the other side. And so I have a whole catalog of things that I have researched, that I know. I've got a big body of facts. And now it's like, oh, well, I know that this is true. And then when you challenge me on, it's like, well, do you know about this incident? Aha, you heard about this one. So whatever I've got to come back, because I've got a battle of catalog of facts that support my idea that I can throw at you that you're not familiar with. And the same thing happens on both sides. So it's a polarizing tribal event that people can use the internet to self-polarize. Does that make sense? So, I mean, we need to be very careful of these, first of all, of our own deceptive brain and the ability of our brain to feed itself the narrative that we want to buy into. I mean, Clarence Thomas, I remember, people know that I've met him a couple times and had been an impact on me because of some of the things he said. And one of them is when he hires his law clerks. He says to the law clerks, okay, here's the issue. This is my tendency. I want to go this direction. That's where I'm headed. Your job is to lean against me. That's what he tells them. Lean against me. Argue. Make sure that in fact, that's what I did with death penalty debates. I have a position, right? But I want to fully understand the other position before because if I can articulate your position better than you can, then at least I've accommodated for that position in my own mind, right? Trying to be fair. So I don't know how long this stream's going to go. It depends on how long you guys want to be here, but yeah, here, like, for example, Coke Fairy. Propaganda is a powerful tool as much as many seem to dismiss it. Yes, Like in Russia right now, most of the Russian people, they think, they're like, yes, we need to destroy all the Nazis in Ukraine, and they're buying the war and all this stuff, right? I mean, they've been propagandized, and people have bought into that narrative that's being fed to them. So you get widespread support for a war that's just a senseless killing machine war for some Putin guy who's the dictator, right? But they're just going to follow along because that's what the propaganda says. I don't know. I just got to be real careful by propagandizing ourselves, and we are deceptive to ourselves. And but are we any better than the Russians? They've got their propaganda outlets and their media outlets that are feeding them, and they buy into it. I mean, maybe there's a group of people like you guys that are watching here that are independent thinkers. Yeah, Hafez el-Assad, right? You got it. Hafez el-Assad. And Chuck, yeah, Chuck Jr. We're all travelers. Trip starts in a place called birth and ends in a lonely town called death. Have you read Prepare, Chuck? I think you have. That sounds like something out of Prepare, doesn't it? So I wanted to bring up one more thing. I know, is anybody over here? Is anybody in town? Is anybody watching? I don't know. Does anybody watch this stuff anymore? I'm concerned. I don't know. I'm concerned that I'm not getting anywhere with the whole whatever I'm doing. I think I'm going to make one more stab on with Brucey, and if Brucey doesn't sell, I think I'll be checking out because I got other things to do. But I'm having a difficult time right now. So I wanted to show you this other chart that I think is pretty good. Okay. You see. Let me see, share screen. Set, share screen. So check this out. See this? Let me zoom it in. 8 reasons people leave jobs and how to fix it. So I want to go through this because I think this is a really good chart. This guy puts together these charts here. Oh, law of self-defense. Is that really law of self-defense, or is it somebody pretending to be law of self-defense? I don't know. Hi, Tia. Thank you. And Hunter's here. I got your note, Hunter. I got so many things I need to work out that are priority. And the whole book thing and the YouTube thing ain't working for me. I don't think so. Okay, so here's some reasons people leave jobs. Poor manager. Now, this goes back to lack of consequences leads to institutional pathology, which is our theme. It's the real deal from Universal Studios, Florida. Yeah, law of self-defense is over in Orlando. And his wife is a taskmaster. She's got him running around. She's got every second scheduled. But maybe next time you can come over. It's Biketoberfest, man. You're a biker. You ought to be over here. But I understand family comes first. And that's my point, too, is family comes first. So poor manager, 50% of people leave a job to get away from their manager. Look at that. 50% of people leave a job to get away from a manager they don't like. If you have a manager you don't like, that is very difficult. So here's some solutions. Offer regular management skill sessions, foster mutual feedback, promote by skill. Here, look at that one. Promote by skill, advance based on leadership, not just expertise. Well, I wouldn't even put expertise on there. I'd say put it on meritocracy. Meritocracy should what promotion is driving. That's what you should do. Because a poor and let me and there's different types of managers, and let's talk about this for a second, because if you have an organization that's running well, if things are going good, then you want to have a manager that is supportive and positive, gives out praise, makes things easy, gives benefits to people, makes people happy, right? The soft touch. That's what you want when things are going good. When things are going bad, you want a butt kicker. You want somebody who's going to chop heads and somebody who's going to cut the dead wood. That is very important. So different types of managers are solutions for different types of things. Now look at this one here, wanting to feel valued. 63% of employees feel they don't get enough praise. Interesting. So regular recognition, praise good work consistently. Include in decisions, seek employee opinions, acknowledge milestones. Celebrate personal and work milestones. Well, I will say I am not a big fan of like the office party and let's have a party to celebrate the birthdays and all that. There are some people who live for that stuff. I don't really care. In fact, I skip my own birthday parties if I can. But however, I would say praise good work consistently. That's really important. If somebody does something right, recognize it. Don't just punish, and you should punish bad behavior, reward good behavior. Punish bad behavior, reward good behavior. That's the key. And that is a simple thing. You would think that's simple. But if you've got a difficult employee, a difficult employee can drive off good employees. We'll probably get into there. We'll talk about that, but that's a really, employees want to feel valued. They want to feel like they're helping and they're part of the team, right? And this is, see, like, okay, this is the praise is your paycheck. Okay, yes, that goes a long way, and that's true, but it is not completely true. There's a lot more to work than just the paycheck, and that's the reason you do it. But there are other jobs that pay paychecks. Why would I sacrifice a particular job for another? Well, maybe they're equal pay. Inadequate compensation. Now look at this. This is interesting. 25% employees say compensation is the top reason for leaving. Now look at the other factors. Poor manager is twice that. And wanting to feel valued is almost 3 times that, or 2.5 times that. So inadequate compensation is not necessarily the top reason that people leave. That's interesting, isn't it? I've seen studies that once you make about $65,000 a year, everything else is not as matter. Now, it is a way to keep score. It is a way to keep score, and I know that this is an Andrew Branke. He's over there in the Rumble chat. It's a way to keep your score in the game. And another one that Andrew likes to say, which I think is great, is it's a way of solving problems, right? And I would even say but see, that's part of the problem in our society too, is that we are so wealthy that we can protect ourselves from the consequences of wrong decision making through the use of money. So we just throw money at the problem, which is a typical American response to many problems. Sometimes problems are not money related. For example, wanting to feel valued. If you don't feel valued, if you're not praised, if you aren't sought, if you're just throw money at you, there's people, and I know that there's a couple good lawyers that I've counseled through this internet process, and they're very unhappy. They're making probably 8 times what I make, but they're miserable and are willing to leave their jobs of a lot of money because of all these other reasons. So let's look at the next one here. Can we go down here to can you see that? I want to move it over here. Let's make sure it's big enough. Can you see no opportunities of development there? No opportunities in development. Can you see that one? 94% of employees would stay at a company longer if it invested in their career development. Okay, they'd stay longer. No opportunities of development. Somebody in the chat here said that that's one of the reasons they left. So continue offer skill enhancing programs, clear career paths, define potential growth avenues, celebrate milestones, and this is again that celebrate milestones thing. Different ones may appeal to you as an employee more than others, but assess about where is your job fulfilling you and where is it not. Oops, sorry, did I click that? There we go. There we go. See that? Oh, okay, well, look here. Just Joy, you just pre-ordered Brucey. Thank you. We're gonna have I'll show you at the end some of the layouts of Brucey at the end, and I'll show you how to order it. This isn't the formal Brucey layout. Legal Vices is gonna help me hopefully promote the pre-orders. It is available for pre-order, but I'll show you at the end of this stream some of the layouts and how phenomenal. One of the things is I always like to do my best. If I can't do my best, I don't want to do it. I don't want to put something out that's second rate. And when you see this children's book, it is done to the absolute best that I can possibly do it, and you will be very happy. So thank you very much, Just Joy. That's why I originally did this whole streaming thing really because I needed to promote. Well, actually, that's not true either because Andrew got me involved. But the channel I set up, my own channel I set up so that I would promote the books. And if it's not working, then I don't know why I'm doing it. That's the thing. Maybe I'll just go on to other people's stuff once in a while. But let's look at some more of this, okay? Because these are really good, aren't they? So no opportunities for development. And another one, Andrew's in the chat, so I'm talking all about Andrew here. Because Andrew says another thing, and that he likes to talk about the male-female dichotomy and about men and women, and he made an interesting point, and I'll just throw it out there. And if it's not true to you, it may not be true for everybody. All the qualifiers. If shoe doesn't fit, then don't wear it. If shoe fits, then wear it, right? But here's the thing that he says that I really thought was fascinating. I thought about it. He says a lot of women sacrifice family for career early on. And they say, I'm going to get my career established, then I will put the family. All right. Well, first of all, I don't know if it's a binary choice. I don't know if that's an either or. I think you can have both. You can have a husband and have a family and also have a career. But on the other hand, there is a certain thing about ultimately, if you both have jobs and the man's expected to have a job and he gets transferred or something like that, then she's expected to leave and then the career gets disrupted. All right. So I get that. However, and what Andrew says is a lot of people are not really developing a career. They're just going to a job. Do you really have a career or do you just have a job? Now, if you have a job that pays money and it puts food on the table, but is a job worth sacrificing a family for? And then another thing that he said that I'm preaching because he's inspired me, and this kind of goes with the theme, is that when he was 40, he got wiped out by his ex-wife. And he had to start over from scratch at 40 years old. And he made a really good point, and that is, if he did it and he rebuilt himself into a very successful man now, why is it that if you had a family and devoted yourself to your family, and then once they get to be aged with they're independent and they're going off and they get wings, then you start your career as a woman? Seems to me that that's a pretty reasonable, why not just put it in this direction? Why is the order has to be career first? I don't know. I thought that was kind of an interesting thought, and it may not apply to you. If you don't think it fits, then don't. It is a free country. Nobody's telling you this. I just thought it was an interesting observation. Okay, poor culture. So remember, this is 8 reasons people leave their jobs and how to fix it. Oh, Slidey Pie, good to see you. Slidey Pie's over here too. Poor culture. Yes, Bambi was scary too. But we need to bring back, and part of the idea of Brucey, somebody's saying that Brucey seems frightening. I don't think Brucey's frightening. I think it deals with serious topics, and children need to be, you can't shelter them from life. It deals with subjects like disability and abandonment and faith and what things you can control and things you can't control. It's a very important story about life. And, children's stories through the eyes of a dog and a puppy is a way to learn these lessons. And yeah, law of self-defense. He's cross-pollinating. See, he hears I'm talking about him, so he's over here. But you're always in my thoughts. And Mr. Law of Self-Defense, Mr. Andrew Branca is a very important person. He's done a lot for me, and we're doing great in the criminal procedure class, and it's a lot of work. It's just wearing me out. I will say I'm really kind of putting my all into it. And anyways, just talking. Okay, poor culture, another reason people leave jobs. 43% of employees are seeking a new job due to lack of cultural fit. Okay. Encourage openness, foster open dialogue across teams, address issues, act quickly on cultural problems, team bonding, regular team building activities. Now, there's an interesting thing here because see, this goes to that earlier point. Lack of consequences leads to institutional pathology. If you have a culture of an organization like the Colorado Public Defenders Association that is so poisoned with woke ideologies, how long are conservative or at least centrist type people who don't buy in it? They think their job is to represent the indigent to the best of their ability, do a great job as a lawyer representing criminal defendants accused of crimes. If that's what you think your job is, and the culture of the organization does not agree with you, at what point does that drive you out to look for other jobs? And this is a part of the problem, institutional pathology. Those good people who believe in the real mission of the organization then all of a sudden exit, right? Exit. And then you have an organization that's taken over by a culture of something that is not worthy of the organization. The organization's lost its mission, right? So, but see, that drives people out. Oh, thank you, Slidey Pie. I adore you too. $5 Rumble rant over on Rumble. So thank you very much. I need encouragement. So let's keep moving here. Can we move on down? Okay, let's see here. Absence of support. Only 41% of the U.S. employees feel that are being supported in their organization. So 41% feel they're being supported. Equip teams with necessary tools, promote psychological safety and resources, and pair newbies with experienced mentors. I will say that I am taking a mental health break. I am really worn out, and I need to prioritize. And right now, my job, my family, my job, my class, finishing up my book, the streaming thing is getting pretty low on the priority list. So just letting you guys know what I'm thinking about. But I will say that at my job, one of the things I love and just love to do is mentor people in my workplace. I love taking good lawyers and making them great lawyers. And I've been blessed by having people, and not everybody cares. It's like, okay, Ghazni, fine. They listen to me. I train them up, and there's part of the mandatory training that they do in an organization, right? But I will say that it's also something that is great. It's a great reward for the experienced people to be able to mentor others. Well, and this is am I referencing you too much? Why are you on my mind, Andrew? Because Andrew and I have had a lot of good, deep discussions about this stuff. I think it was Andrew. I think it was a discussion I had with Mr. Andrew Branca again, who's had an impact on my life, I must say, and to the positive, a lot of good things. But something that he said is that if somebody is, they're old and they've been there for quite a while, and they've got their life and they're happy and they've got it. What they want to do more than anything is train up and give back to people, the young people around them, and make them better. That is a great reward for people who are successful. Very successful people, I found, are very generous, and they want you to listen. They want to share that. And maybe that's what Andrew's done for me, and he does that with everybody. Though some people take it wrong, but that's then you haven't found the right mentor, right? You've got to find the mentor who works for you, and that's it. So let's look at mismatched values. 77% of adults would consider a company's culture before applying. Absolutely. Like I would love to move out to Colorado, but I couldn't work for the Colorado Public Defender's Office. I just couldn't, not with that culture. I have lots of friends. I have 3 sets of very good friends out in Colorado, and I love Colorado. I love the mountains. Um, and I'm not sure where we're going to retire, what we're going to do, but Colorado is definitely on the horizon because I like being near my friends. But I'm not going to be working for that office, that's for sure. Okay, so embed values, actively live and communicate the company's values, promote diversity and inclusion of every level. But let me talk champion diversity. The only diversity that matters, is intellectual diversity. It doesn't matter if everybody is black, brown, and yellow, and green, and pink, and blue hair, and pink hair, and red hair, and tall and short, and women and men, and every Z's and Zers. None of that matters if everybody thinks alike. It's like lemmings going off a cliff. The only thing that matters is that you have diversity of thought. Diversity of thought. That's the lever that has been applied to this concept of diversity to get this into the diversity statements in all these organizations. When you say, well, isn't our country stronger because of this diversity? Yes, it is, but only in thoughtful, intellectual diversity. Only one that matters. And why is that? Well, and I will say that's one thing I really like about our job. Again, my job at my public defender's office, we have a great leadership and I have people in my office that I'm very different from. And yet we get the best out of each other. We bounce things off, we discuss. And sometimes I'll come up with something that the other person hasn't thought of. They have an angle because I look at things very differently than they do. And so we talk and we share it, and it's great. Oh, thank you every day. Every day? Is it every day? 20 pounds. That's even better than $20. Pounds better than $1, right? I studied at Trinity College, Cambridge. I don't know if you know that. I think you're from England. Isn't that a 20 pound? I think you're one of the most compelling speakers on YouTube. Have a drink on me. Thank you. Maybe after I stream. Well, I guess if we're at $25, if we get to 100, maybe I'll do drink. I did want to show you some more stuff, but thank you very much. Believe me, that does encourage me because if people aren't buying books, the only other thing that's got going is the Rumble rants and super chats. So thank you. But I hope you find this interesting because I find it fascinating. This is the thing, I get inspired and I see this. And so diversity of thought is key. And what do we need by that? We respect the other's thought, get the best out of them. Say, I respect that you look at things differently, and let's team up together to fight the battle out there on behalf of the mission and get the best out of each other rather than some kind of winning contest between the two people, right? You're on the same team, and let's take that diversity and project it outwards, right? Gigi, thank you very much. We're going to go through, I'm going to show you some Brucey stuff right at the end of the stream, just in a few minutes. I just want to finish this thing up. Okay. So here's another one. Feeling uninspired, lack of motivation is a leading reason why employees need to look for a new job. Promote creativity, encourage innovation and ownership, lead with zeal, inspire through passionate leadership, offer diverse, challenging roles. And yeah, lack of motivation. So that's very good. Very good. So let's see. So that's pretty cool. Isn't that pretty good? That's a pretty good little rundown. I should give credit where credit's due, shouldn't I? Let me bring that back up because I didn't give credit to the guy that did this. And I did one of these before, and he was really in, let me see, present, share screen. Let me find it here. Bring it back here. Let's Let's go down to the end here. Here it is. It's Justin Meacham. He's on LinkedIn, Justin Meacham. So it's linkedin.com and Justin Meacham. He's the one that does this. He did the other one I also presented, and occasionally some of them are good, some of them are better than others, right? So I want to show you a couple more things. Okay, first of all, people have asked now, okay, we're done for the topic. If you want to tune out, you can tune out now. Now we're going to talk about Brucey, the one-eyed wonder dog, which is it's stressing me out because it's out of my hands. It's in the hands of my designer, and he's great. I'm so pleased. I'm just like, these panels that I'm going to show you, and I've shared them with a couple of my biggest supporters, but I'm so excited about this. And this is, I mean, you can pre-order it now, and I'll show you. Let me show you first how to pre-order it, okay? Because that's the first thing. Let me see. I'm going to go over here. All right, share screen, present, share screen. Okay, so if you go to stevegosney.com, there's my website, right? Now you can see down, you scroll down, you can either go shop and you can go Brucey the One-Eyed Wonder Dog, or you can go down here and it clicks over pre-orders. See there? It's so easy. You know, Farmhand Tom did this for me. Okay, so here's some of the pictures. You see some of the pictures here that I've put up? That's Brucey. Okay? And I'll read it. Brucey's the one-eyed wonder dog. Yes, he's missing one eye, but even though he does not have everything the other dogs have, Brucey found he's valuable. He found his mission in life, but it was not always this way. This is Brucey's story. This is a true story, by the way, right? Oh, and thank you, Lily. Super sticker. Lily, you know, I think I told you, I also have I really like writing. I'm so torn. I don't sell many books on this stream. It's mostly into like Branca, or I mean not Branca, Vices, and Vices is going to host the release party for Brucey the One-Eyed Wonder Dog. He's going to host that. And it'll probably be next week or the following. So we'll see how, if we can really sell a lot of Brucey books, then that will greatly encourage me. I'm banking on it. Anyway, let's see. Because believe me, the wife will cut me off. All right, so here I'm going to show you some pictures here. This is so cool. Just to show you what you're gonna get. Okay. So okay, here's the first one. There's my streamer here. Okay, ready? Thank you very much, Lily. That's very nice. Present. This will give you a peek into what we're going to do. See that? Yeah, okay. So one night, a man saw a sad little dog shaking in the dark. Brucey gathered up his courage and went to the man. Will you help me? But the man put a net over Brucey and locked him up in the back of a truck. Other dogs growled in nearby cages. Brucey shivered. Where am I going? See, there's Brucey. How great is that? Now here's the next one. Want to see this one? Many of the dogs barked and jumped, trying to draw the attention of the family. Brucey could not compete with their energy, and Brucey gazed down sadly. Maybe I will be overlooked, as I am not as strong and as loud as the others, and I only have one eye. Who would want a one-eyed dog? Right? And how about this one? But just then, one of the smaller people in the family pointed in his direction. Squeals of delight tickled his ears as cradling arms scooped Brucey up, carried outside into the sun. Brucey felt gentle hands petting his fur. The people dropped him in front of an open car door, and Brucey jumped right in. Was he really going to be loved? He wagged his tail back and forth. Maybe his missing eye did not matter so much after all. See there? That's Brucey getting in the car. What do you think? Pretty good? I'm very pleased with how those layouts are looking. So, and I'm trying to get it out. It'll be for Thanksgiving, and what I want is to get people for Christmas gifts for their children, and so it'll be out on Thanksgiving. You can pre-order it now. We're gonna have a big pre-order stream with Vices in a week or two, and then I'm gonna hopefully have the the book in hand. They're all gonna I will say the first run is all gonna be hardcover books. So it will be a children's book with hardcover, no forward by nobody. I'm not putting forwards in any more of my books, too much problems. I'm doing it myself, and the beautiful artwork, and I will say that the artwork cost me $2,500. Now, I will say that that was funded by the Give, Send, Go campaign. The Give, Send, Go campaign was wildly successful. People fully funded the artwork, but I really wanted to get the best artist. I looked all over. I looked over maybe 500 artists and found this artist who's in Qatar, and she did a great job. She actually does art books and sells them on Amazon. She's really good. And then I have a layout person that's doing the layouts. And so and again, the guy that did the death penalty debates logo, his name's Grok. He is the one that's and he also did the Summer Friend cover. He's the one that's doing the layout. So the art, it's going to be the best quality I can possibly make it, both in artwork, in layout, in story. And it's a story, and it's not just a secular story. It's got the Serenity Prayer embedded within it. In fact, the Serenity Prayer will be printed in full in the back of the thing. And Brucey hears the Serenity Prayer because his life is about the Serenity Prayer. It's about love, and it's about living with your disability, whatever your imperfection is, and moving forward with life, whatever that imperfection is. We all have those things. So I'm really, really happy with the way this is coming out, and I really can't wait to hold it in my hand and get it out to you. So that's my pitch for Brucey. Now you've got a little pitch. But we're going to have a full stream on this, and I'll have Steph, the altar nerd, on there. She's going to come on. Jeff will be on there. Aussie Overlord. All of my big supporters will be on to do a big launch. But yeah, the story I wrote the story. I picked the artists. I picked the layout people. I'm approving everything, and it's the best that I can possibly give you. So, anyways, I'm just I think we're good. I think we're good today. Let's see. Did we get? Oh, one more thing I want to do is, who else is streaming? I want to do like one of those redirect things. Let's see who else is streaming, and who do you think who's streaming that we can redirect to? Let's see here. Ooh, Steve Gazzi's around. See, it's the only 23 people have lost interest, I think, and I appreciate you guys that are here, but let's see. I don't know if anybody's really streaming. It's Friday night. Maybe that's expecting too much. Well, nobody's streaming. You redirect yourself. How's that? All right. All right. God bless you. Good night.